How's it going, everybody? Rob here, back with another video, and, well, we are going to react to another piece of content. This time, however, we're going way back, looking at some content from Cheshire Cat Studios, and this is going to be focusing on their movie theater experiences, why theaters suck. Which, thinking about some of my own experiences, yeah, a lot of times they do. So, let's go ahead and get started with this.
Why hello there, you handsome people of the internet. My name is Cinemax and welcome to the second edition of the official Cheshire Cat Studios podcast.
Okay.
Now, as some of you dearies
Why am I
may
watching
remember,
this shit
a whole
again?
bunch of years ago, me and a couple of my e-buddies from CCS got together and produced a roundtable review of some lousy Mortal Kombat web series that, to tell you the truth, I'm pretty sure most people had already stopped giving a shit about even back then. Even so,
yeah,
due to the
does seem
irresistible
like
charm of all the hosts involved,
oh my God,
and the project's unique visual
gun.
style, the podcast proved itself to be quite popular and even received praise from some of the harshest critics of the net. And so, since we're all restless men of action who understand the importance of timely content to maintain a stable audience, we had decided to strike while the iron is hot, so to say, and go on a 9-month-long hiatus with only a few feeble sporadic attempts to salvage the project in between.
Why?
Yeah, we know. Real professional.
Okay.
Do not fret, however, my friends,
Everyone
because
calm the fuck
luckily
down.
for you,
It's your
we're
lucky
not
day.
the type of people to throw our hands into the air after
Okay.
the first failure and rest on our laurels for the rest of eternity.
Okay.
And in order to prove this to you,
Pig or
we've been
it-
officially
wait,
spent
what?
all this time trying to improve every aspect of our show. First, we hired an aspiring young artist who goes by the name of Inverted Mind to draw animated avatars of ourselves to better convey the sheer madness that's happening during our recording sessions. Not
Okay.
really, of course. We're just trying to rip off Spill.com. Next, we
Okay.
altered our podcast format to trim down all the unnecessary drivel
Scissors.
and turn our
Oh,
show into a much
looked
more
like a
pleasant and
bean.
intelligible
Okay.
experience for you people to enjoy. Not really, of course. We're just trying to rip off the Ricky Gervais show, obviously. And finally, we paid a demented 40-something-year-old hippie $50 to pretend to be a Virginia college student and tell us all sorts of bizarre and wacky stories from his childhood, or about his cat who's allegedly secretly an evil genius.
Oh.
Hey! But enough talk. You all have waited for this episode long enough already, so without further ado, please welcome the official CCS video podcast version 2.0.
Alrighty. I love that logo, by the way.
Rolling, so wild and full of steam. Once you get us going, it's like nothing you have seen. With some fire in your belly, you'll move a little faster, and the devil in your eye makes you hit a little harder.
Hello everyone and
All
welcome
right.
to the Cheshire Cat official podcast. I'm Star and we have with us Laughing Man,
Oh.
Kenny Farino,
Yeah.
and the beloved Cinemax.
What's up?
And today we are elaborating a little bit more on a topic I mentioned slightly in my podcast, Silver Screen Podcast, movie theater experiences. So, couple questions for everybody here. Up first, do you guys have any personal movie theater related horror stories going on?
Of course, everybody does.
Okay,
Oh, good lord.
Laughing Man, you want to go first then?
Let's see what's
Sure.
going on.
All right. Am I an expert in theater management? No. But I've been to different types of theaters, from small towns to the big Carmike and IMAX theaters in, like, Seattle. And I won't blame just the theater, though, but there's a lot to be desired about the movie-going experience, all right?
Yeah.
First of all, the cost of food and drinks is absurd.
It is.
I mean, especially for,
It
like, a
ever
big
so
fucking
is.
giant box of jujubes, and you get this gigantic fucking box. It looks
Yeah.
like about the same size as like a small shoebox, and then you open it up and when you're inside the theater, and the size of the packet of candy is like the size of a fucking condom wrapper.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Alright, and now getting to your seat is another fucking adventure, because walking through the rows of seats, you navigate around like sticky puddles of spilled pop from the previous showings, like you're trying to traverse a minefield wearing clown shoes. So you finally manage to keep your shoes clean, only to finally sit your ass in a seat and feel something seeping into your right butt cheek. I mean, it's very, very classy.
This has happened to you? You sat on like a wet seat?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Now you
Is it
don't
a
have to
normal
go to a
theater or
fucking
an
theater.
adult theater?
Actually,
Oh, Lord.
No, dude, it was seriously a theater. I can't remember the movie. I think it was that one John Cusack movie about the hotel. And
Oh,
the
Identity.
personalities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Actually got stuck to the floor.
No, I didn't get stuck to the floor, but I waited till everyone fucking left that theater before I got out of my seat because I had this big old like fucking pot stain all over the side of my ass.
No, I did. I got stuck to the floor.
Oh, how?
Okay, your turn, man.
hell.
And go.
No, I haven't had like any, big significant scary horror stories like Laughing Man has, where he's gotten like wet shit on his seats. But I've just had many little irritating things happen to me. Like, when I was a little kid, I got stuck to the floor because of all the sticky shit that was there. So my parents had to literally like pry my shoes off of the ground just to like get me anywhere. And then of course, I took my girlfriend Heather to the Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Okay.
And rated R.
Which, I'm gonna say this, like, if there was a situation where a freaking a person's literally getting stuck to the floor, unfortunately, it does seem like the custodians of a theater aren't doing their job, especially since they're supposed to clean it every freaking like showing.
Like guts and blood flying everywhere, that
Jesus.
kind of thing you'd expect. All of a sudden, though, we hear this young child start to cry.
What?
And this like very young couple just like start, getting all pissed off and angry. Brr. So this young couple takes this little baby kid into a fucking Freddy Krueger movie.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That makes sense.
They're just stomping down the aisle. This kid,
that
like,
last
freaking
image
the
was
hell
not
out.
okay.
They're pissed off as hell that they won't get to finish seeing the movie. Of course, very dumb on their part. And then, of course, the candy experience. The Jujubes costing like $20.
I know, the prices really are ridiculous. They should at least be half of what they are, easy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I agree with Laughing Man.
I mean, in reality, it costs enough to get into the thing. Their real like income, like for theaters, their real income is literally the concessions, like what you pay for food, like snacks and drinks. That's literally what their whole money income comes from.
It cost me $20 just to get a small popcorn, a drink, and some candy.
Yeah.
So what my parents do a lot of the time is they usually go to like the store across the street and just buy candy and like just sneak it in their purse.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what my
The
girlfriend always
smartest thing to do.
Yeah, that's what my family would do too. We'd go to the dollar store, get little dollar bags of candy, put it in my mom's big ass purse, and or do one up and get like Burger King or something.
Oh,
Seriously,
God.
the cost
nice.
of the damn candy is almost enough that the most masculine guy ever would probably like bring his own purse full of candy and suffer the ridicule just to save like $50 in candy.
Yeah.
No, like the ridiculous part is that it was me, my dad, my sister, my brother, and 3 cousins. So I think like 7 of us who were going to see The Sitter. And instead of going through like the candy line in the store, in the theater, what we did was go to like the Publix across the street. And like basically we each got like either chips or candy and a drink, and all 7 of us cost $20-something. All 7 of us. That would have cost like $50 or $60 candy wise had we been theaters.
Yeah.
All right, it's Max's turn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sadly, I don't have that much horror.
Just to play with the idea. Hold on. I'm kind of curious. So like, let's say normal price for let's say average price for candy at a movie theater about $4 or $5. Let's say they're being assholes. It's $5. So 5 times, I think he said 7. Close to that, it'd be like, okay, actually, let's say they want to get popcorn, okay? So average price for popcorn. So $8. So let's say each of them want to get let's say they want to get a thing of popcorn. And let's say they want to get drinks. So $8 times 7, okay? Let's just keep up with me, guys. And then average price for drinks in movie theaters. So $3 to $5. So let's go ahead again. Let's say these guys are assholes. Plus 7 times 5. In this current, let's say in this current like day, if you were to get everyone freaking drinks, popcorn, so on, it would cost you about $126. Hold on, let me get so you guys can see a better picture of it. $126. So, a lot of money. You literally are better off just going out of your way to go to like a Dollar General or something and freaking getting your snacks there.
Stories related to the theaters, because when it comes to movies, games, books, and pretty much everything else I enjoy, I prefer to do it home alone without any distractions. But when I was younger, I used to hit the cinemas quite a lot, and I do remember one particularly bad day when I went to see, what was it? I think it was Harry Potter 5, and well, I wasn't the only male in the theater, but there was a lot of girls, teenage girls,
oh god,
that watched the Twilight movies, and it was impossible to watch the movie because every time a main character would appear, it was like a rock concert. They just scream exactly, and the worst part, I didn't read the book, and those bitches just kept spoiling the entire movie. It's like a character shows up. Who was it? That guy who's Harry's godfather. What's his name?
Sirius Black.
Yeah, exactly. And like the moment he appeared on screen, one of the girls says like, "Oh, do you know he's gonna die at the end?"
Oh, what an asshole!
I hate those people.
Nice.
Yeah. And
You gotta hate that. I remember having my own experiences in the theater. This was a while ago. So I know Pirates of the Caribbean 3 came out. And I think around the same time, so did Shrek the Third. So, me and a couple of buddies of mine, when I was still in high school, we decided to, fuck it, let's go to a double feature for the movies. So we made sure to basically pre-order our tickets, or at least to buy our tickets outright. But first, we went to and the way we got it set up is it was basically we went to Shrek Third first, and then we went to Pirates of the Caribbean. So that's what we did, and no issues when we were watching Shrek Third. But when we get to Pirates, there was like a lot of times where you had these guys like a group of guys just sitting in the front row, didn't have any shirts on. Because they were like waving around like they're freaking flags, and every time like a big moment happened, like Jack Sparrow showing up or whatnot, these guys would get out of their seats, like again a big old group, get out of their seats, and start waving their freaking shirts around like a flag. It got to the point where literally they were asked to leave, but. It got really annoying because people are just trying to watch the movie, and you have individuals that are just being really disruptive. Kind of like the same thing that happened with the freaking the Minecraft movie, where all of a sudden you have the one line from I think it was like the trailer, chicken jockey, and you have a bunch of people just freaking going nuts in the theater. Which, honestly, I don't think is okay. Makes me question, whether or not I want to go to the theaters anymore.
And I'm going, thanks, bitch. I might as well just go home right now.
Wait, did you actually yell that? Please tell me you yelled that.
Well, not the bitch part, but it was something like, thank you. Thank you.
I would throw my $10 thing of pop at her. Wham. bitch!
I mean, you probably would get
I
a salt
don't
charge.
have
Would have been
anything-
worth the $10.
I just can't picture Cinemax inside a theater in a sea of mentally handicapped jailbait. That's like hell.
Yeah.
I definitely feel Laughing Man takes the cake with as far as worst movie experience because I'm kind of more like Kenny and Max. It's just been little moments. The most recent one I can recall actually is it's a little funny. My mom, my brother, and I went to see the Green Lantern movie, and of course
Oh,
we
no.
got happy because it was like
Poor
I liked it. It could have been better, but I liked it. Anyway, it was like empty theater, which was awesome. It's always awesome having the whole thing to yourself.
Yeah.
And then, of course, these two shit-ass little, like, 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds came in.
Oh,
and
God.
They're just being little fuckers. They're being very loud and distracting, and I think they threw candy or popcorn or something. And it got to the point my brother was just so fucking annoyed and pissed off that he got up. And my brother's a little intimidating. He's like 6 foot. He's like 2 to 250. And he goes over to the kids. He goes over to the kids and just hovers over them and goes, "Stop it!"
I remember one time friggin' there was a kid, or a couple kids, sorry. This was when It Chapter 2 was still being, it was still in theaters. And at the same time they had freaking The Lion King live action. And me and a group were gonna go see the It Chapter 2. And these kids wanted to go watch it, but because it was rated R, the theater wasn't going to let them. So they went for Lion King instead. So me and the group that I was with, we go and we pay for our ticket. And by the way, I want to point out too is that it's all assigned seating. So as soon as we get there, we get to our assigned seats. Now, apparently, these kids thought it would be smart to try to sneak into the same theater that we were in. They were caught like before the credits even started, or before the trailers even started, because they're all sitting there being loud. All of a sudden, a custodian shows up, and escorts them out of the theater, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And the kids were just like, well, facial expressions cannot be recorded on audio, but you get the point. The kids were like, kind of, what the fuck just happened? I'm scared.
Yeah.
And my brother just very angrily walked back to the seats, and we watched the movie. But the kids were quiet the rest of the time.
That's
By
awesome.
the way,
Moving on. Oh.
No, I had a question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Have you guys ever tried midnight screenings?
No,
Once.
I don't want to bother with
not really.
like the crowd. I don't want to wait in line. I don't have to be at a film for its opening day. I don't mind giving it a couple of days or weeks for the crowd to die down so I can enjoy a nice, quieter, uncramped theater.
No. You see, the thing is, it's a pity we don't have Will BMask with us, because I believe he mentioned how he went to see those good old Disney films at midnight screenings, and the audience was respectable. They left when it was appropriate. They cheered up when it was appropriate, but at other times when it was like a dramatic moment in Mulan or something, they stayed quiet, just like the audience should. So yeah, I was wondering whether
Maybe
it
it's
was
based
he
on,
was
like,
just
culture.
lucky, or if it's like a common experience at midnight screenings.
Yeah,
Maybe British people are just more polite than American audiences.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
Yeah.
They're
probably.
all sirs, sitting there with tea and monocles.
Yeah.
I say, George, this is a very excellent movie. Be quiet.
Oh my god.
I say, I'm very cross with you right now.
Oh
I
god.
say, Betty, won't you give me a blowjob during the movie?
Jesus!
Hey.
No, we're going way off topic here. Let's get back on.
Go,
Yeah,
Kenny.
yeah.
So, next question then. What do you guys think of the quote-unquote bullshit gimmicks that are coming to theaters? Of course, there's this 3D. I mentioned in my podcast the D-Box experience where the chairs moving around. I'm trying to think what else they've done in the past, but overall, what do you guys feel about that? Is it enhancing film? Is it dehancing film?
I think Laughing Man's Laugh pretty much said everything that needed to be said about it. As we tried to say in the 3D podcast, but where that just sort of fell into oblivion. 3D
podcast
used to be something neat because it would just help. It just gave the movie a different level of
3D is a really dumb
feel,
gimmick.
Different level of experience, and if done right, 3D could be really neat. But everything is just turning into Gimmicksville these days. So it's.
I mean, me personally, especially with the advanced 3D that they have for certain movies where it has the glasses. I'm sorry, no, I'm already wearing glasses, so it's gonna be really uncomfortable to wear a second pair of glasses. And a lot of times where I'm trying to watch that crap, it's already going to be blurry to begin with. Because more than likely I'm going to have to take off my glasses and put the new ones on. And these things ultimately just end up hurting my eyes and just giving me a freaking migraine. Because, again, it is a really, really stupid gimmick.
Just why bother seeing fucking Beauty and the Beast in 3D?
Yeah.
Heather and I tried to see Beauty and the Beast recently because it was re-released, and we tried to find movie theaters that weren't playing it in 3D. None of them were. It was just all in 3D.
Yeah.
So you go out and buy the fucking DVD.
Yeah, I think that's the better alternative. So when I think it's The Little Mermaid that's coming out next, I think that'll just be a DVD buy.
Max, what's your opinion?
That or get it on
I
streaming.
believe the title says it all. They're just bullshit and they're gimmicks. And if, like Kenny said, 3D when done right can actually, I guess it could enhance the experience because people saying that film Hugo by Martin Scorsese, that the 3D is done right, it doesn't get in the way of the experience. But when you've got shit like the D-box, or as I call it, the dumbass experience,
or the D-bag.
Yeah, or even that that movie Spy Kids 4 that came out a decade after the last Spy Kids movie. Yeah, and the main gimmick was the whole 4D, which turned out to be smell-o-vision.
Seriously?
Yeah,
What?
but I do remember reading somewhere that one of the gimmicks that the director Robert Rodriguez wanted to install is in some certain theaters you could actually smell what was going on in
That
the
is a
film.
horrible idea.
If you're watching Austin Powers, a fat bastard comes on the
Oh
screen.
God, no.
Please no. Please no.
I'm ready to smell stale KFC and Doritos.
I'm out.
No,
Yeah, that's horrible.
So I guess we sort of prattled on about 3D enough, but what about other quote unquote innovative movie experiences like the D-box, or just things that they could absurdly start making in the next couple of years, interactive cutscene movies.
We were talking about the choose your own adventure type thing, right? Anybody want to start in on that?
Well, like I said in my show, I did experience that. I mean, it was years ago and the memory is vague, but I mean, at the time, I think I thought this was kind of fun and different. You kind of feel like you're in control of the film, which was a little fun, because how many times do you watch a movie and you're like, no.
Yeah, but
Stuff like controlling your, choosing your own adventure. I mean, it's been implemented more with video games, but it's that's where I don't understand why people would want to try to do a choose your own adventure, especially if a lot of people, if you have a bunch of people, let's say for instance, if you have a situation where people have to press a button to determine which pathway you guys go, there's always room for that to fail, especially when you have a bunch of people, continuously pressing the wrong answer, and then you end up having to leave because, lo and behold, some asshole pressed the wrong button. It'd be, like I said, really irritating.
thing is, me and Wafman discussed in the forums of Cheshire Studios, which you have, must visit right now.
Which they are to watch this.
Yeah.
This kind of stuff, the choose your own adventure, could become pretty problematic because,
Yeah.
first of all, in order for such a system to be successful, you gotta start making films based around the whole gimmick, because otherwise you're gonna have, I mentioned, you're watching Inception, and there's only one right option throughout the entire film, and that's
Yeah.
just bullshit. And second, I'm not sure whether movies really need a system like this, because I say leave the interactivity part to video games and stuff like that, because I don't know, I you know, when I watch a movie, I want to enjoy someone else's story, you know, but
Yeah.
if I want to make my own story, I'll just go and play a video game, and that's my take.
Or
So it would work by, like, you know, the audience. It'd be like a popular vote with the audience, right? There'd be like a little keypad or something. You press the blue button for option 1, red button for option 2, and the popular vote continues the story.
Honestly, I think the average movie-going audiences are way too dumb for, like,
Yes.
implementing anything like that. They
Well,
just go,
Exactly.
"Here's the blue button."
The biggest pain in the ass for any normal moviegoer, intelligent or not. Should I just quote this entire thing I wrote?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's fun.
All right, so
Oh my gosh. Official Cheshire Cat Studios video podcast proudly presents Laughing Man presents Zero Punctuate. Oh my gosh.
So 15 minutes into Inception, you get a game over screen thanks to audience voting for the wrong option. You blame everyone for hitting the red button even though you hit it yourself. You leave the theater and go back in, spend another $10 on a ticket and $9 on a small Coca-Cola and give it another go. You hit the blue button this time, but now there's a new audience who outvotes you with the red button and you die once again at the 15-minute mark. You leave the theater, spend another $10 on a ticket, and because your $9 Coca-Cola was mostly water, you're forced to pay $2 in quarters to unlock the theater's new pay urinal, the next logical place for theaters to screw you over and make the movie-going experience even more unbearable.
God.
After hunting for 8 quarters by checking payphones, begging from strangers, and picking spare change off the bathroom floor, all while dancing around like a Special Olympics floor routine gymnast, you finally find relief. The next man who enters the restroom pisses in the trash bin while you're trying to find another spare quarter to use the theater's new coin-operated sink. You return to the lobby and pay another $10 for stale popcorn that tastes like it's marinated in the same yellow substance you found some of the bathroom floor quarters in, and return once again to play your video game movie, swearing to God that if any assholes hit the red button ever again, you're gonna go on a homicidal rampage with a weed whacker wearing nothing but white gloves and a tinfoil hat. At the 15-minute mark, you stand up in your chair and threaten to disembowel anybody who even dares to think of the red button. The audience doesn't take you seriously, so you curb stomp a 16-year-old cocksucker who's been talking on the smartphone the entire
Jesus.
time, and the audience quickly presses the blue button. At the 30-minute mark, you're supposed to hit the red button this time instead of blue, so game over. You go across the street to the Home Depot and purchase Reynolds Wrap and a still weed eater.
idea.
You're a maniac.
Ladies and gentlemen, applause.
Oh yeah, damn right.
The worst thing is I actually talk like this. This is me when I am pissed.
Wow.
Good lord.
This is Laughing Man in real life, ladies.
This
Line on
is
up.
not a one-time occurrence. If you know me, I do this daily.
Curb stomp teenagers.
I
Damn.
wish.
Come on, ladies, you single, you know you want.
Okay.
Never
You know you
piss
want Laughing
off
Man.
Laughing Man. Oh god, that was priceless.
Oh, that was
recently
great.
Tried the D-bag chair, you know.
Oh.
You did?
Yeah,
Oh.
I recently tried the D-bag chair. Wasted, I think, like $15 on a ticket. I'm not sure.
Wait,
I
you
forget.
actually watched a whole movie doing that?
I think
Why
so.
would
I was just
people
sort of
pay
curious,
extra for
plus, you know,
that?
This podcast was coming up, so hey, why not? So when I got in there, you know, I first noticed the chair. All right, the chair was there. I was like, fine, okay. So I sat down, and when the movie started up, it felt like the chair was starting to take off like a space shuttle. I was like,
Okay.
oh dear, oh no, here
See,
we go.
Did you tense up and keep yourself level, or did you just kind of go ragdoll and just...
Ragdoll.
Honestly, I go ragdoll all the time anyway. So no,
so you felt like
I mean,
a bobblehead then, right? Because that's how you said it felt like.
no, I wish there was a seatbelt on it at least, because like the entire time it felt like I was at a rave. You know, I was just flailing around going oops, 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 while the chair was just doing its thing. It felt like I was being barraged from all sides by kids who were bored and just felt like kicking the fucking chair.
Oh, good
So-
lord.
No, so eventually what happened, I think it was like the 15 or 20 minute mark of the movie, you know, eventually I couldn't take it anymore, you know.
You can't?
I had the
Oh my god,
what?
no.
No, I had the very bad decision of also like buying a small popcorn and a drink. But
In your
that
pants
aside,
while the chair is vibrating and erupted like a freaking Mentos and Diet Coke experiment.
no. What ended up happening was my
Kenny walks out with wet pants and like, holy crap, it must have been really good. What kind of movie did you watch? Stripperella?
No, Debbie Takes Dallas, but Like, my stomach actually started to erupt like a fucking Coke and Mentos thing, so I I lurched up from the chair and I started running down the aisle. I did not give a shit who was in my way. People's drinks
Mr.
started
Science
flying
Theater.
everywhere. So yes, I did actually come out of the theater wet, but for the different reason. And so I just dashed in the bathroom, and that was my D-chair experience.
So
Never
it makes you
again.
literally nauseous.
Yes, never again.
Wow.
You know what'd be really funny is to take a beer, like a can of beer, and just stick it inside the D-box thing, and it'll shake it up all nice. You don't open it though. You leave it for the next person to come in. They're like, "Oh look, an unopened beer." Boom.
Oh, laughing man, you asshole. Anyways, I was gonna.
Man.
Let Max
Go
talk.
ahead, Max. Go ahead, Max.
Yeah, I was gonna mention. You remember that old THX intro, the one with the
Oh my
sound
god.
vibration?
You don't see that anymore.
I remember.
Yeah, imagine like with the D-box experience.
Yeah, I mean, like, seriously, you don't see that anymore. In, like, the beginning of movies.
The intro is like 20 seconds long, and in those 20 seconds, the audience gets, thrown in their chairs. Like,
Jesus.
There's
bones,
there's a pregnant woman in the audience. All of a sudden, hears.
Oh god.
and it feels like a 10-point earthquake. God damn it.
You know what? I was gonna mention this earlier though. You know how like I think it was the old Vincent Price movie, The House on Haunted Hill. How they used to have like that skeleton fly through the theater.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They used to have people like stalking the theater and they'd like scare people. I remember Kenny told me that when the new Nightmare on Elm Street came out, he dressed up like Freddy Krueger. He had the claw. And go ahead and tell us the story. Kenny.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
This was
okay.
like in the same showing where like there was the crying baby and the angry couple. But what I did, I dressed up as Freddy Krueger, right? So I brought like shitty foam hat and the striped sweater and the claw. It was a plastic claw, mind you. But during like the scary parts of the movie, there was this person who was actually falling asleep right in front of me.
Oh god.
So what I ended up doing was,
People laugh.
yeah, I just started like creeping my claw up like to the back of her, ever so slowly, bringing it over the edge, and I rested the claw on her shoulder and started tapping my fingers on it.
Oh my
And
god.
she just sort of started awake, like, oh!
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Freaking Freddy. Robert Englund, you know what? Hands down, Robert Englund best is like the only. I'm not counting the freaking. I'm not counting the remake. Robert Englund is the ultimate and only, the one and only Freddy Krueger.
If only I said that. But you probably thought it was part of the movie, though.
Yeah, but see, something like that would be kind of fun, like if you're watching like Friday the 13th or something, all of a sudden this guy dressed up, a convincing guy dressed up as Jason or something, walks down the aisle and kind of stops and kind of creeps behind somebody and like raises up the machetes, and everyone else behind him's all laughing.
Oh my
and stuff,
gosh.
And the person finally turns around and they see this freaking hockey mask.
I always thought that was fun. I remember when I think it was X-Men 2 came out. It was way after the fact. But
Oh God! Don't tell me someone dressed up like Wolverine and started
No.
plastic clawing people.
No. That's not the idea I wanted to do. Again, I thought about this way after the fact.
Maybe it was like X-Men 3 and someone dressed up as Juggernaut. It's like, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Dressing up. Shut the fuck up.
Let,
Fuck.
let the woman tell her story.
Thank you. So, the idea I wish I could have thought of when the movie was still in theaters is take like 12, 15 of my friends and me. We go see the film, we all scatter throughout the theater, and then at the end part, when Xavier's looking for the mutants, and in the movie all the mutants are grabbing their heads in ultimate pain, I thought it'd be hysterical if me and my friends would start doing that, and we keep doing it until he starts looking for the humans in them.
Oh dear God! If only there was.
And when Storm is like electrocuting people, you can sit behind someone with a taser.
No god.
Yeah,
You go to jail though, but it'd be so fucking priceless.
the next question was, how do you fix cinemas?
Well, for one, ban children, ban all children.
That's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be good for a good Disney movie.
At least babies, at least the ones who like cry and freak the fuck out.
The ones who
Even
can't
though-
fucking even understand the movie shouldn't be going to the movie.
Well, my mom, because I used to ask my mom, what would you do when I'd start crying? Because, you're 1, 2, you take the kid to the film. My mom said if I wasn't able to shut up, they'd get up and leave.
Yeah.
they take Star in the cradle, they open the back door to the theater, drop her off in the alley, and watch the movie.
Oh God.
Just let Johnny the hobo take care of her for 40 minutes.
No,
And then
no.
you just see a little baby Star turning and looking at the hobo. He's like, oh, I cuddle.
That's funny.
Max, you got any ideas?
Yeah, actually, I think the idea that Kenny proposed, if it's a horror movie and, have, like, someone dressed up like Freddy Krueger or Jason, and at a certain point in the movie, like, the scariest part of the movie, like, he shows up out of nowhere, it could backfire since it's gonna be distracting, but that could actually work. I mean, as long as it's not obnoxious. I mean, like, 12 people scattering throughout the audience.
Oh, shots fired.
Bad.
Yeah, I mean, just do it like William Castle did. What director William Castle used to do during the 50s or 60s was in his movies, like House on Haunted Hill or The Tingler, he would always
frickin'
have
The
these
Tingler.
like, fun and fantastical gimmicks that would go on during the time. Like in House on Haunted Hill, as one of you brought up earlier, like the skeleton like flying through the audience. And in the movie The Tingler, there was actually this one part where the screen was just completely black. They just had like the character saying, "Stop, everyone in this movie theater, the Tingler's loose, watch out!" And then they have this...
I've told people this story. Because, yeah, that's what happened in a lot of the old theaters, where they literally had freaking, like, with people watching the movie, they literally had freaking, people, like, everything would go black, and, you had, freaking Vincent Price going, like, just saying, "Everyone in the theater, it's the Tingler, it is loose." And you tell everybody, "Do not fear, do not show fear." And, yeah, like, initially, for, like, a lot of the old theaters, they would have, like either a broom or something, like, as if it was, like, scurrying across people's feet. So you'd have, like, people poking around with a broom or something. It was really great. Really great way to, like, do that.
Just like little Tingler creature come out from like the seats for some
Jeez.
people or everyone.
Wasn't me this
Like,
time, I swear.
Have this set person like run the fuck away screaming.
Nice.
So William Castle had the right idea. Make like the theater into a sort of like a amusement park or what have you. I mean, hey, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what has to change first and foremost?
What's that?
The audience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
I think that's the biggest thing.
I want to see ushers again.
Yes!
I want to see these big, tall, bouncing-looking motherfuckers.
Yes.
Big red jackets and those little round monkey hats. And I want to stand in the back
Yeah,
theater
bring-
with a 12-inch.
Yeah, for theaters, bring back ushers. We need that in theaters because you have a bunch of people that are freaking assholes that are distracting, that just want to watch the damn movie. I think, yeah, just bring back ushers.
Steel shaft and magnum flashlight will pounce like a jungle cat on the minute he hears a ringtone or he sees the pale light of a smartphone. Grab the motherfucker by the scruff of his neck and throw his ass out the parking lot.
Jesus.
I will pay to see that before paying to see the actual movie itself.
Wow.
I will pay $10 to see that. And you know what? I don't want like a police state in the theater or anything, but I'd rather just get rid of these assholes who ruin the movie experience because I think they need to tweet.
Yeah. Or the people who think they're so funny and like do Mystery Science Theater 3000 type.
Yeah.
That guy with
Like
the
that.
glasses the entire fucking movie the entire time. I mean, I was watching the Silent Hill movie, which I do like.
Oh.
The first half. And all I fucking
You know, I want to say, like, you know, kind of following up with what he was just saying about Silent Hill. When I first watched it, I didn't know anything about Silent Hill or the games. So I kind of had, like, an open perspective. And I will say, like, that's the only way you can watch the movie. It's, like, not having, like, any prior experience or exposure to the Silent Hill franchise. And sure enough, I will say it was an enjoyable film. Only to realize that, again, everything I knew about the movie was wrong. That, again, I was, you know, a part of the new audience in that fact. And to hear people kind of denounce the movie and explain why, which, honestly, quite a few people have done a good job with that, I can see where they're coming from, where it's like, oh, I'm a fan of the games, and this doesn't follow the game. Or certain things, or certain changes are, like, really, really odd and annoying. So, oh no. Good series.
heard was, that's stupid, that's fake, And I'm like, shut the fuck up. That's Pyramid Head. Don't go dissing my fucking Pyramid Head.
Oh,
Yeah,
good
just
lord.
have Laughing Man's ushers come in and beat the shit out of him with their giant flashlights.
There you go. There you go.
I will
Business
be
franchise
I will be
opportunity.
in the balcony with a laser pointer. Be like, him.
Laughing Man, business opportunity for you, man.
You know,
Yeah.
I would really do it. It'd be so fucking fun. Just the minute you hear is go over and just beat the shit out of the guy, throw him out in the parking lot, and be like, anybody else?
That's awesome.
Yeah, but anyway, we've talked about everything that we needed to really, talk about. So let's wrap this shit up.
Yep. So for me, get the prices of everything down and be reasonable.
Yeah,
I spend $20 for a fucking tub of popcorn, especially when the popcorn's fucking stale and it tastes like goddamn olive oil. So get the prices down. Have some type of like enforcement over the cell phone policy.
And kick
Call
small
you
children
back.
in the face when they start crying.
Yeah, I say hire the bouncers that you mentioned because you hire those guys, you've got all the problems away. You've got
Yes,
people,
I agree.
Yeah.
people will stop talking, they'll stop using their cell phones because otherwise, just imagine like the kind of muscle you'd see in Indiana Jones.
Oh god, like the giant Nazi in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I'm basically a lot of you. I think prices should come down. I do think every theater should have stadium seating. I think that's a brilliant idea. All the armrests should be able to come up, and I just thought of something though. The only way to probably fully enjoy the film while still going out, maybe slightly, drive-in theater.
Yeah.
Fuck yes. I mean, there are plenty of those around.
I wish there was one in my area. That way, like, let's say if my wife and I want to watch a movie, we could literally, and it makes it, I want to say, like, it makes the experience more personal or interpersonal, because you literally, like, let's say you go with your loved ones, you go with your wife, or you go with your whole family, and you just pull up and watch the movie. And a lot of times, let's face it, the custodians of the theater, you can't search your vehicle, so it'd be a lot easier just to have concessions or have freaking like snacks and drinks.
Richmond, Virginia area, like lots and lots of drive-in theaters, and those are a good time. You could chill out in your car, chill out with some friends.
Yeah.
And if you have if you're not in a convertible, then you can be as loud as you want because no one will hear you, and you can still hear the movie.
Yeah, the only complaint I had about that, because I've only done the experience one time, was the film quality wasn't that good at my experience. I'm not sure if that's like that everywhere, but I still enjoyed it. I really think there should be more of them. In fact, back in New York, there was only one drive-in theater near where I lived, and I shit you not, they tore it down just to build a regular theater.
That's stupid.
That fucking blows.
Yeah.
Yes, I was really pissed. And I'm just
What'd be really cool is like if you're making out in the back seat and you look in the back rear view mirror, there's people wearing like 3D glasses eating popcorn, and it looks like they're watching you.
Oh god. Oh my god. That's funny. Oh my gosh. So that was the Cheshire Cat Studios movie theater experiences, why they suck video. Or why theaters suck. Yeah, they make a lot of good points. A lot of things I agree with. I will say the experience at theaters is not the best a lot of times, especially, and it's mainly because of the people that attend. A lot of people, quite a few people act obnoxious. They will, leave a bunch of mess because they know that the person that's going to clean it up will be the custodian. People are loud, noisy, and for a lot of times they will freaking, ruin the movie experience for a lot of people that haven't really seen the movie. So, but yeah, I think for a lot of locations, we need to bring back stuff like drive-in theaters. That'd be really awesome. So, all right, I think for now, I'm going to go ahead and end the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, it's all in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you guys next video.